everyone, it's CL. Welcome to my first installment of Tales from the Stacks, where I share with you all my experiences of working in a library, either like a behind the scenes or some sort of story that stands out to me. So for this installment, I am going to be sharing one of the most uncomfortable things that I had to do while working in the library, and that is having to tell someone to stop watching porn on the computer. Now, I still remember this experience very vividly because this occurred at a time where I was in college. I was very young. I didn't have a lot of life experience in that particular way, in the sense that I have a lot of anxiety. I'm not a people person. So you can only imagine like what sort of situation I found myself in, right? So it all came about where I was working the circulation desk and a girl comes to the desk and she says, "There's a guy watching porn on the computer next to me. Can you please tell him to stop?" And of course, outwardly I was like, "Oh, absolutely. I'm so sorry if he made you feel uncomfortable. I will go over there and I will talk to him." But inwardly, because I'm just this college girl and this is just my part-time job and I'm not a people person, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have to go up to this guy and tell him to stop watching porn. Like, what? How do I even begin that conversation? What do I say? What do I do? I've never been in that situation before, right? And my immediate reaction, I think a lot of people, this would be their first reflex, but I looked at the clock to see how much time I had left in my shift, because if it was like 5 minutes till the next person comes in, I might have pretended to wipe down the counter until the next person came in to kind of avoid the situation. But of course, I had like 6 hours left in my shift. And not only that, even if there was a second person there, I was the circulation desk supervisor, so there was no way around it that I had to deal with this person, right? And in my mind, I'm like, why couldn't this guy have come in early and picked one of the computers off in the corner by the wall? Why does he have to pick the computer that's like smack dab in the middle of people where all the traffic is flowing? So I slowly left my safe zone of the desk and started walking back to where the computers were. And I must have did like the slowest walk, because in my mind I was like, what am I gonna say? What do I say to this person? I don't want to embarrass them, but I want to confront the situation because he's making somebody feel uncomfortable, right? Under normal circumstances, hey, if you want to look up porn, then look it up somewhere where people can't see you, right? But he was making people feel uncomfortable. He's making this girl feel uncomfortable, so I had to address this situation. No way around it. So I did the slow walk towards the computer consoles because they were all put together. And when I finally approached, there's like a shelf that's just behind the computer where he's working at, and I kind of tried to go behind it and just see, like, is he doing it? Is he still watching it? And he was a bigger guy, so even though I like got right behind him and tried to like peek to see what he was looking at on his screen, he was a bigger guy, so I couldn't see it because his body blocked the computer screen. So I finally come out from behind the bookcase, and the girl that complained locks eyes with me and she gestures. That's the guy, right? She's gesturing to me. It's him. And outwardly, I'm like, okay, I will solve your problem. Inwardly, I'm like, why me? So I approach him, and before I let you know what I ended up saying, I'm gonna pause here and ask you all, what would you have done? What would you have said? You don't want to embarrass them. The computers were all full, but you wanted to still address the situation, right? I had no clue what I was gonna do, what I was gonna say. No idea. So by that point, I was just gonna say whatever I could think of, but absolutely the thing I ended up saying was not the most profound. So I lean on his computer console. He looks up at me and I look down at him. By this point, he is closing out his windows, and I end up saying, "Is there anything I can help you with?" But I said it in a way of like I had a total scowl, because a little bit of me was kind of pissed that he put me in this situation. I was a little bit mad at him that, like, hey guy, why couldn't you have picked some computer off in the corner? Why do you have to pick a computer right smack dab in the middle of the people? So I was a little bit mad. So I looked at him with a scowl and I was like, is there anything I can help you with? And he said no. He gathered up his things and he left. In some senses, I'm kind of glad I'm kind of glad that the conversation didn't last past that point, but like, what would I say, right? But it was kind of gross because after he left, of course the girl, she later came back to me and she was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping me. I mean, you can't help it. People feel uncomfortable. It has to be addressed, right? What was kind of gross though, is that when the guy left, I looked down at his computer because I was checking to make sure that all the windows were closed, right? The mouse and the keyboard were all sweaty. It was disgusting. And I had to go back to the desk and get like the Lysol and spray it down. It was gross. And what, in hindsight, I'm like, wait a minute. What if there was something underneath the desk? Like, I don't even want, I'm so glad I didn't think of that at the time because I would have been grossed out, but maybe there was nothing there. But what if I did look and there was something there? I would have been so grossed out just because it's a public place, right? It's a public place and it's not like in a little room somewhere. It's in the middle of all these people. So that was the first incident, and I wish I could tell you that was like the last incident, and every time this would occur, and I want to tell you that I got used to it, and I guess in some senses I got used to it, right? Whenever I would see this guy come in, I would stare him down and be like, you better not look up on the computer what I think you're gonna look up, because somebody's gonna complain and I'll have to deal with it. And every time I ended up having to approach him, I said something different, and it was never like, stop watching porn. I never said that, but I always, every time I lean on his console, he takes off. And it got to the point like, whenever he would see me walking towards him, he'd gather up his things and he would take off. And eventually it did taper off to where he stopped coming into our library, at least while I was there. But it's so awkward. Like, what would you guys do? That was so uncomfortable for me because it's public and I don't know this person. And I'm not a people person. I don't know how to deal with people and communicate and all that other stuff. So it's just weird. So yes, that is the most uncomfortable situation I had to have been in, is telling someone to stop looking at porn on a public computer. I wish I could have slipped him a note and be like, hey, next time come early and use the computer in the back, but I didn't think of that. So that is my Tales from the Stack for today. Let me know down below in the comments what you would have done. I am so curious. To this day, if I think about it, if I put myself in that situation again, like, what would I say? I still don't know. I still have no clue what I would say or how I would approach it. I probably would have done the same thing, like lean on the console, give him the death stare and be like, you need to leave. You need to leave. You need to stop what you're doing, or you need to leave. So that is it for today. Thank you for watching. I will see you later.